Okay, so this one's now finished as far as getting its work done. It needed to be blasted, it needed to be put back into a primer, because it's going to go back off to the panel shop now to get all this work done. But you can see why I have to get this done. If you look at the quality of the vehicle, even though this has had all of its work done from the previous fabricator, we can see that there's still a huge amount that needs to be done. Lots of dents there, lots of dents through here. Wanted to get it blasted specifically so I could see everything that's going on with this car. You know, I'm going to need some work done on the lip here as well, on the guard. This one needs to be lead wiped, and I can see inside the vehicle now. I can see properly what's been done and what hasn't been done, and especially underneath. You would have seen the last video underneath where it had a huge amount of rust, just surface rust. That's all gone now. So now that this is on a rotisserie, the guys at the body shop can now look at everything that needs to be repaired. We've got some slight damage here in the sill panels that'll need to be fabricated, but you can actually see where some of the work's taken place from the previous person that did the fabrication work. It wasn't the greatest, I'll be honest with you. It wasn't fantastic. So, you know, we need to get that fixed up, which it will be. It'll be fixed. But look, you know, now that the car's been done, you can see what needs to be done as far as repairs are concerned. It's just a lot more obvious, and that's why I get every single car blasted. And there's excess holes in here, so the good thing is that once I've got all this done, I'll get all of this, these extra holes filled up for the customer and make sure that this engine bay is nice and clear. These are your engine bay wiring harness clips, but these ones don't belong here. As we can see in this A pillar here, there's going to need to be some fabrication work that needs to happen here, just to get this back and get some rigidity back into the strength of this, because obviously it's holding your door on as well. Sill panels aren't too bad. And you can just see where some of these repairs have taken place. That's terrible. I'm going to get that repaired. You know, the problem that you have when you've got somebody that's attempting repairs on a vehicle and they don't know what they're doing, you're going to have a lot of these pinholes. And then, you know, eventually over time, that's where the rust will form again and start to bubble. And there'll be some fabrication work around your drip rails. But otherwise, I'm glad that it's done. I get this done to every single rotisserie vehicle that needs its work, because you know, now that it's sitting on this actual device of the rotisserie, you can turn the car around, turn it upside down, and figure out what you're dealing with, and then start repairing it. This will have everything repaired in it though. You know, it will look amazing when it's finished, but you know, this is how you get them. This one's actually in reasonably good nick compared to some of the ones that I've seen. Some of the ones that have had really bad rust, you could almost walk through the entire car. But, you know, these welds are not great. Whoever did this, yeah, pretty ordinary. We'll get it fixed. Keep watching. So I'm off to see the panel beaters today to make sure that everything is done right. They're basically getting into everything within this car. So I've asked them to open up all the possible areas that there could be rust. Have a look in there, and if anything needs to be fabricated and replaced, it will be, and then it'll all be put back together. This is an important step because it actually it ensures the longevity of the car. If the fabrication work, the body work's done right, and all the welds are done right within the car, then it's going to last for another 50 to 60 years once it's been finished off, before it may need a restoration. Unless it's stored well, it'll last for a lot longer. So I just want to make sure that everything's on track with this car, which it is. My fabrication guys generally spend around 2 to 3 weeks, depending on the level of rust repairs and fabrication work that need to take place on a car. And what they do is they put the car back together for me, and they line it all up, obviously, with the chassis rails. I normally, when I do a rotisserie restoration, I go down to the chassis rails on the front of the car. I leave the inner guards on, but I go down to the chassis rails and I'll replace the guards and the radiator support panel and the nose cone and everything else. So it all has to be lined up again. There's a lot less work in replacing those with obtainable parts from rare spares than to use the original parts if they've had a huge amount of rust or dents put into them, because it just takes forever to fix those ones. Some people like to use the original parts, understandably so, but for me it's just quicker and a little bit less expensive for the customer to use the rare spares parts that are readily available that have been newly made. The chassis rails have had repairs. Yeah. A-pillars. Yeah, nice. Sill panels. Rear quarters. So this has finished its metal fabrication, now it's on to bodywork. Getting all the lines right, getting the doors right, getting the gaps right, which they are. All the front panels are on, hanging panels are now on, bonnet's on, bonnet's lined up with its gaps. Go around the other side. Getting all the lines right. Gaps are good. So it's on the bodywork. Drip rails and the stainless molds fit. Temporarily got them fitted up. Make sure that they join correctly here and also down here as well, because this part here, for some reason, was taken off by the previous people doing the work on it. But these are the important steps to need to make sure that this actually lines up. And then obviously all the lines along here are straight as well. On the other side, it wasn't so great, which is being changed. And I'm not pressing these on yet. I'm just temporarily fitting them up just to make sure that they follow the contours and that the connections here butt up against each other and that there's enough room down here where it goes on. A lot of work's gone into getting this car to where it is now, but trying to keep it as original as I can to possible. So it's going to have its orange paint going through here. It's sort of blown in down there. Floor will be orange. Blackouts are going to go through here and on your A pillar and on your B pillar here. And then during the engine bay. So the engine bay is going to be blacked out and have your Warrigal black in here. And obviously the Brisbane built cars were black. The Adelaide built cars had a little bit of greyish tinge to them. So this is ready to go, but also making sure that we follow the correct lines for where the blackouts stopped and where the colour starts. So you can see the blackouts even went up to the top here where the bonnet lacing was. So following on with the car, I'm going to make sure that the boot area is all done right. And yet again, the boot area has got the black that goes up to this line up here, and then the rest of it's colour. So, the underneath's already been done, stone guarded. But walking around the car, this car will get rubbed down, every little bit of it will get rubbed down again, so that when the blackouts are laid, they'll be laid, and then you'll have your final coat of clear that goes onto that, and then that'll get smashed down. There's going to be a fair bit of work on smashing that down to get it so that it's almost like a mirror finish. Obviously black around here as well for an XU1, but it gives you an idea of the quality of the work that this panel shop does is just beautiful. And they take their time, you know, there's a lot of attention to detail just to make sure that things are done right. You know, if you look at, you know, that finish is just amazing. So a beautiful car that's being restored. So from the time that it got here to the time that I think it's going to be running is probably around about 6 to 7 months. But you know, the hard part, the most expensive part is getting this done. Paintwork, bodywork. Typically, this is around about 4 to 5 to 600 hours. It depends on how bad the car is. As far as rust is concerned, this had a fair bit of work done to it already. Some had to be redone, but it wasn't too bad as far as rust repairs were concerned. You know, very happy with this, and I will see what she looks like next with the blackouts on and that final flow coat, and then denibbing that clear and really flattening it out. There's a fair bit of work still needs to happen around flattening that out, but you'll see that next. These are 55-year-old cars, some of them from 1969 through to 1974 was when they stopped making them. And you know, they're old and they're not brand new, but you know, we do a very good job of replicating how well this will look as far as being brand new is concerned. Still using some old parts, but most of the parts get replaced. Not cheap to restore one of these cars to this sort of level at all. But you know, it's something that the owner is going to enjoy for, and hopefully their family for, you know, time eternal. Hope it will outlast myself and everybody else when it's done right. So, you know, looking at this is the original fiberglass spoiler as well. So this is different to the aftermarket ones that you buy. The aftermarket ones don't fit that well. They're pretty ordinary, and this one has mountings that were fiberglassed in underneath here, which are going to be done. And it just wasn't perfect fiberglass, a little bit wavy, but that's just what they were like from the factory.